In this tutorial, we'll be looking at how you can grade quiz attempts once they've been completed. Here in the quizzes area, I can see under the G column that I have one student who's taken exam 1. And the first number tells us how many have been graded, and the second number tells us how many total have been taken. So 1 of 1 means that one attempt has already been graded. In some cases, if we go into exam 1 here, if this box here, automatic grade, is not checked, then the score will not be, or the quiz will not automatically be graded, and then this first number will show 0 out of however many attempts have been completed. So we go to exam 1, and then we go to grade. And grade is going to show us who's completed attempts. So I can see that Andy Anderson has completed the first attempt, and here's his score. I'm going to go into his attempt and just take a look around here. And I see which answers he's selected. And if for some reason I want to just give him a point, because I think that he actually does know how to use a computer, or he should have answered this question differently, I'm going to change his score. I can just automatically change it and then hit recalculate, and then that changes his score right here. Another thing I can do is I can give feedback. So I'm going to put this out and I can give Andy some specific feedback. And then Andy will see that when he comes in later to look at the feedback I left. In some cases, a student might submit an exam a little bit later. We want to see how much time it took on questions and so on. A handy tool, if you scroll back up to the top of the page, is the quizzing event log. And this shows you all of the actions that the student took as they moved through the exam. So I can see here that he worked on page 1 at 142 and page 2 and page 3. So he was moving pretty quickly through this, and I can see what time he saved these questions individually and what time he actually completed the quiz. So I can see his actions here. And that tends to be really helpful. If I go back in there, another thing I can do is show the IP address, so I can see which computer he worked on when he completed the quiz. This is helpful if you think that you might have some students who work together. Showing the IP address can be kind of telling. And that's really all you need to know about grading an attempt. Another thing you might want to be checking out are the stats. The stats page shows us the class average, the score distribution. Right now we obviously only have one student, so this histogram really isn't all that telling yet. And then down here you'd have a list of the students who've all completed the attempts and what their scores were. And then if I go into question stats, I can see how students fared on each question. So this tells us how many got it correct or incorrect. Right now, with only one student having taken it, it's either going to be 100% or 0%, but this is a really nice page in showing you maybe when you have a question that should be re-examined. If a lot of students got it wrong, you might want to take a look back at that question again. So that's about all you need to know on the stats page as well. But basically, grade and stats are the two areas you're going to use the most of when once students have taken exams or quizzes and completed them, how you're going to work through them. So that's basically how you grade quizzes once students have completed them. And remember, we did check the auto export to grades checkboxes here, so the scores as they're completed will be automatically exported to the grades tool.